A little different format for the intro today. I'm currently in Beloit, Wisconsin, in the back room of the 5 Bar. Complicated issues, to be sure, on the podcast today. We got a continuation of Jacob. His name gets changed. He wrestles some fucking angels. We can't tell if it's the same angels that are walking before in Genesis. There's a lot of back and forth. I actually even yell at Geoff on accident. He's cool. He forgives me. That's great. But fuck this. Let's get into it. Okay, here we go.
So right away, I want to just I had a couple of epiphanies last night.
Whoa, really?
In the dream state. The main one is that I think, I mean, if you look back in the most modern history, I think that one of the main signs of divinity bloodline,
Okay,
I think manifests in tracksuits.
What?
No, hear me out. Okay, who's the first person you think of when you think of tracksuit? Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Number 2. Okay, I'm thinking Run DMC.
Oh man, I went Hail Bob comment on that. So Run DMC is good though. You're right. Yeah. Culturally,
they're dead. Yeah.
The zeitgeist
and Uma Thurman. You know what I'm saying?
with Bruce Lee.
Yeah. So I think that just the comfortability and the everydayness, but still the sleek and fitting, like I think that is one of the signs.
Well, I mean, the Colts adopt them a lot, right? So maybe they got it right.
Singular. I'm thinking more singular, like more lone wolf, like whatever. The other thing that seems really obvious when you start reading this book is that, like with Laban, he never got smited or withered for all the shitty transactions he pulled with the Lord's chosen.
Yeah, with the
son of the Lord's chosen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so if this is, and because the thing where you're like, if we read this book, we're going to be better people, and I'm like, the more I think about it, it's like it's kind of the opposite. Where if you read this book, it's like I think the Republicans have it right. Get away with whatever you can, and then when it comes down to it, say, okay, let's make a truce, draw a line in the sand, build some stones. You stay on your side, I'll stay on mine. But it's like, I think that I don't know. I'm not trying to make it political, but it's like,
no, I like it.
They resonate. They're like, I don't know, they're fucking walking the walk, I guess.
Well, you hit on a huge thing for me because that's a big reason why I am so liberal. Is I grew up in the most conservative, like a lot of the social groups that I used to hang out in, they're QAnon supporters now, and so in a lot of ways I think it's kind of cool because I still am friends with a lot of these people and I like them a lot. And so we can still get along and we can still talk. When you grow up ensconced in that church environment, let's say, right? A lot of these church people said and acted like they were, that they loved other humans and that they were really into other humans. And that we really like people. But then, like, if anyone with blue hair or, that voted for abortion comes in the door, it's like a straight up fight. Like, it's a firefight.
Yeah, but what they're not saying they like people. They're saying they like people that like them.
Exactly. That's exactly. They don't like people. They like people that think like they do.
Well, and they like people that they can take advantage of just fine. Like Laban loves Jacob.
Yeah.
Laban's like, hell yes, Jacob, stick around for 20 years while we
Another.
bend you over
Yep.
again.
Yep.
You know, and so it's like, yeah, those are our people. You know, like that's what's that seems really obvious that this isn't about a self-help. It's more, well, I mean, we're not even out of the first book, but
right.
but there's a lot of spots, and honestly, it's not just on the human level. You know, the gods are like, okay, what can we get away with? Look, I'm gonna rock this Sodom place. Can
Yeah.
we get away with is Abraham still gonna back us
Should we
if
tell
we
him?
show it to him? You know what I mean?
Tell him. Yeah, dude.
And the thing with, I mean, even, you know, you brought the New Testament into it in at Christmas, when it's like, you know, the Lord sent Gabriel down to talk to Mary. He didn't do it himself. And if she'd have been like, you get his ass down here right this second, or I call rape. You know what I mean? Like, oh, but she didn't. She's like, oh, okay, that's okay. Are you sure he's gonna take care of this? You know, it's what can you get away with without getting busted?
And that, yeah, man, that's, I mean, you're stoking this cynicism that I've been working for 2 weeks to get out of, you know? So, like, but yeah, man, like, you're right. I've arrived at this deduction too several times when you read some of these stories.
Yeah.
And you know, now maybe the flip side of it could be like, these stories come from a time when this was, all these things that they're talking about were just so normal that, you know, people got away with it. It could be that's how we can trust. Someone could say, this is how we can trust that it's real, because it's being honest about the hard issues, you know. But I don't ever find that from a pulpit, and I don't ever find that from a religious podcast. I don't ever find that from a Christian angled book. They never ever bring up the fact that God is fucking women. They never ever bring up the fact
actively, and not just like here's what I wonder. Here's what I wonder is that if on the way to Sodom, did they need to go by Abraham, or they just like, dude, we totally have to go see if Sarah's around. Hey, dude, come on, like Tupac, or was it Tupac, Biggie, and Quincy are like wandering in the desert, and Tupac's like, "Come on, man, it's I know it's 5 days out of the way, but can we just roll through there? Just, I mean, she might be there, man. You heard about it, right? Yeah, we heard about it. You know, it's like, I don't know.
She's got those mandrakes. No, I'm taking two stories and putting them together, but yeah.
What is a mandrake?
It's some type of fruit. Probably not very.
I know it from Harry Potter when they're alive.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to watch those growing up.
Yeah. Well, they weren't around when I was growing
up. Hell, you know, before we get into that, let me grab a lighter, and then I'll tell you a story.
The other thing that's crazy is that, boy, these Genesis, the Abraham and Jacob, they are just constantly in contact with these angels, or these, you know, these people, these flesh beings. They're just always getting hit on. It's just crazy. Encountered. Jacob went on his way, and angels of God encountered him. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. You're talking more about they're just everywhere. They just pop up all the time.
Well, they're around, and they're around these fellas a lot. You know what I mean? Like they're. It's not like, this doesn't say, like, you know, we're starting up on the middle of 32 or whatever. The middle of oh no, it's 32:1. We got the middle, but it's like, you know, Genesis 32:2. Jacob went on his way, and angels of God encountered him.
Yeah.
Encountered, like rolled up on, like, we're, hey, Jacob.
Yeah, he wrestles one of them pretty soon. Yeah. Like all night. Like all night. They try to kill each other.
They're trying to kill each other? No spoilers. No
No,
spoilers.
no, no.
No
That's not what
spoilers.
it says. They wrestle. That's all it says.
Okay. Is it
So,
like Sodom wrestling? Is it like intimate wrestling?
well, I have Bible Hub open here, and I was going to tell some stories, but I'll save them.
All right. Let's get to
Because
this.
we should get to it, right? Yeah. Because
Yeah.
So, do you want to just jump in? Do you want to read, or before I get? How about I read the first before I get high? Because then,
Okay. Yeah.
remember, I'll start. Then you don't do all the reading today. We're getting better, folks. See, we talk about stuff when you're not around. Okay, Genesis 32. Early in the morning, Laban kissed his sons and daughters and bade them goodbye. Then Laban left on his journey homeward. Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God encountered him. When he saw them, Jacob said, "This is God's camp." So he named the place Mahanaim. Jacob sent messengers ahead of his brother Esau in the land of Seir, in the county of Edom, and instructed them as follows: "Thus shall you say to my lord Esau, thus says your servant Jacob, I stayed with Laban and remained until now. I have acquired cattle, asses, sheep, and male and female slaves. And I send this message to my lord in the hope of gaining your favor." The messenger returned to Jacob, saying, "We came to your brother Esau. He himself is coming to meet you, and there are 400 men with him."
Esau is the guy that he stole his birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, right. Okay, so should we recap that a little bit? So they have multiple falling outs, right? So
Jacob and Esau are the sons of Isaac and what's his wife's name?
Isaac and not Rachel, Rebecca?
Rebecca or Rachel, one of those two.
Rachel's Isaac's wife.
Right. Is one of them, is Isaac the dad of both of them for sure?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. But Isaac is the son of Sarah and the spawn of Tupac.
Abraham. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
No,
that's
Tupac.
Right. Yeah.
Not Abraham. He's
right.
not Abraham. Right.
No, that's just Sunday school conditioning. That caught me.
Yeah, that's gotcha. Yeah, and your mouth was open too.
Yeah.
So Isaac is like 50% Nephilim. No, he's 100% Nephilim. He's 100% Nephilim. He is the spawn of a god, of a divine being.
That's what we think.
No, that's not what we think. That's what
we think the Bible is saying. Yes. I feel good about it. We can't be objective. I'm just being objective. There's lots of beliefs on
that's what the Bible says. The Bible says that she's making fun. What, am I going to have a baby now? Because my man is old and withered. And they say, "Oh, what is that too wondrous for the Lord?" Right?
Yeah, I'm not going to take this apart because I agree with you. But there is, as I slap this in my face. Yeah, it's just like, maybe. Yeah, of course it was.
Like who? I mean, what
everyone.
Would they say? What would they say?
Abraham shot a fucking live load because God was with him. Or that Sarah, excuse me, could accept it.
That's
poppycock.
Exactly. So anyway, so Isaac is Nephilim. His sons Esau and Jacob are creepily polar in their
countenance, who they are,
their skin tone, their complexion.
Yeah,
one is fair skinned and like a mamby-pamby. Jacob's the mamby-pamby, and Esau is like this hunter guy who's super furry,
manly dude. Mm-hmm. Yeah, bookworm, manly dude.
And Rebecca favors Jacob and helped Jacob swindle Esau's birthright when when Isaac was on his deathbed.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And apparently, once you've given your blessing,
Yeah, it's like
you can't take that shit back. It's like apparently that's the introduction to my word is my bond,
yeah, right. Like,
because you can't take that
goddamn.
shit back. Yeah, even if you got swindled, it's like, well, I said I'd do it, so I'm fucked, and so are you, Esau. Yeah. And then just but then
I
Esau
love
goes
this
on to
shit.
like build up a little bit of a posse and a little bit of a thing of his own. He has his own land, doesn't
They're
he?
both successful. Yeah, I mean, he's got
Yeah,
400 men coming with him, right? So they're both have been
rolling.
God's blessed them both, right?
Right.
And it makes sense
But
because they're from God's dude.
well, and you figure, I mean, if Jacob has been gone for 20 years, Esau's been stacking the deck.
Yeah, right.
So
Okay, and so
so that's
now
yeah.
after all this time, they're gonna be reunited, and Jacob is like, "What the fuck is he gonna do?" And now,
He hasn't said that yet.
well, but what just happened because the messenger just came back and is like, "Your brother's coming with 400 men." So it's like, what
Apparently,
does this mean?
your brother's coming with a posse.
Like a pretty big one. All right, and so verse 8, here we go.
Oh yeah,
Jake,
he was. Yep, sorry. Yeah, there it
yeah,
is. Greatly
Jacob
frightened.
was greatly frightened. In his anxiety, he divided the people with him, and the flocks and the herds and the camels into two camps, thinking, if Esau comes to one camp and attacks it, the other camp may yet escape. Then Jacob said, O God of my father Abraham, God of my father Isaac, O Lord, different, who said to me, return to your native land, and I will deal, bountifully with you. I am unworthy of all the kindness that you have so steadfastly shown your servant. With my staff alone, I crossed this Jordan, and now have become two camps. Deliver me, I pray, from the hand of my brother, from the hand of Esau, else I fear he may come and strike me down, mothers and children alike. Yet you have said, I will deal bountifully with you, and make your offspring as the sands of the sea, which are too numerous to count. After spending the night there, he selected from what was at hand these presents for his brother Esau: 200 she goats and 20 he goats, 200 ewes and 20 rams, 30 milch camels and their colts, 40 cows and 10 bulls, 20 asses, 20 she shorts, but shishio,
Mhm.
20 she asses and 10 he asses. These he put in the charge of his servants, drove by drove, and he told his servants, go on ahead and keep a distance between droves. He instructed the one in front as follows: when my brother Esau meets you and asks you, whose men are you? Where are you going? And whose animals are these ahead of you? You shall answer, your servant Jacob's. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and Jacob himself is right behind us. He gave similar instructions to the second one and the third, and all the others who followed the droves, namely, thus and so shall you say to Esau when you reach him, and you shall add, and your servant Jacob himself is right behind us. For he reasoned, as I what is that? Propate? If I
It, propitate,
propitate?
sheet, sheet.
I'm not even going to edit this out.
I don't know what that word is.
For he reasoned, if I propagate him with presents in advance and then face him, perhaps he will show me favor. And so the gift went on ahead while he remained in the camp that night. That same night he arose, and taking his two wives, his two maidservants, and his 11 children, he crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After taking them across the stream, he sent across all his possessions. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. When he saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched Jacob's hip at its socket, so that the socket of his hip was strained, as he wrestled him. Then he said, "Let
Wait
me
a minute. What
go."
the fuck? What? These aren't the angels.
Let me keep reading.
Oh, sorry. And by the
Yeah.
way, leg locks are a bitch. That's a leg lock, people. Don't kid yourself. Those are for real. Those are still in effect.
Still in effect. Ow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ow. Okay.
I don't understand. Like, okay, is this like some? Go ahead.
You want me to go ahead? Because you can. I don't mind.
No, I don't understand why. Like, it's like, is this gonna like explain at the end what the hell's going on here?
Does anything in this book?
Well, that doesn't make any. Just go ahead. Just I don't mean go ahead. Well, you said that he was wrestling an angel, and it hasn't
Yeah.
said
Here
it's
we
an
go.
angel yet.
Here we go. So, wrestle with his hip. Then he said, "Let me go down. Let me go, for dawn is breaking." But he answered, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." Said the other, "What is your name?" He replied, "Jacob." Said he, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and human and have prevailed." Jacob asked, "Pray tell me your name." But he said, "You must not ask my name." And he took leave of him there. So Jacob named the place Peniel, meaning I have seen a divine being face to face, yet my life has been preserved. The fuck? The sun arose upon him as he passed Peniel, limping on his hip. This is why the children of Israel to this day do not eat the thigh muscle that is on the socket of the hip, since Jacob's hip socket was wrenched at the thigh muscle. Okay. Okay. See, as I'm walking away, like,
I don't know. Yeah, it's like so he. I'm just trying to unpack a little bit. Are you saying that at the very top of this, when it says that he encountered, let's see here,
a man.
2, 3, there it is. Early in the morning, Laban kissed his sons. Jacob went on his way, and angels of God encountered him. When he saw them, this is God's camp, so he named it. Jacob Saint mentioned it. So
Doesn't mention much about that encounter, huh?
just that Manaheim, whatever,
Yeah.
Jacob sent messengers, and then it splits. Oh, now what does that Vaeslok mean?
Oh, those are different sections of the. That's. I mean, we can look it up, but it's going to be like, go ahead or wrestle. You know, those. That's like a.
What does it mean?
Okay, let me do it real quick. It's just going to mean something like, and so he went forth, or it's going to be pertaining to this story. Last time we looked these up, this is just the Yiddish or whatever they call.
But the story splits though. They call this place Manhamian or whatever. Jacob sent messenger, and then he starts concocting his plan. To divide everything.
Hebrew for and he sent.
And he sent.
Yeah.
Okay. And he sent. Oh, that's like the beginning of it. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like.
Sent.
Yeah. Exactly.
But he prays. God doesn't show up when he prays. But is this sort of saying that like those angels were with him this entire time, like those divine?
I don't take it that way because he's taking drastic measures to stay alive. Like he's dividing up all shit, sending them in different parties.
Right. But then how do you piece together what do you think's going on here? What's the like? Is this one story?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, how do you? I mean, I could like just start giving my stoned opinions.
No, I'm asking a really specific question. Do you think that the end of this story is connected to the beginning?
No.
The angels of the Lord that encounter Jacob, are they with him threw out this decision to divide the three into three camps,
No,
do that
I
whole thing, cross
I
the
don't.
river. No. So this
Because of
just
the divine
random.
beings thing. Well, no, and check this out. Because when he wrestles that guy at the end, the guy won't let him say his name, and that's very indicative of God throughout the Bible. Like, you know, like the reason his name is, we don't even know how to say Yahweh. We don't know how it was enunciated because people don't speak it.
The
Before
first rule of
scribes,
the first rule of Yahweh is
yeah, yeah, totally. So I think that is like, I think he might have actually wrestled the dude, like head honcho God.
after taking them. So he's got his wife, he's got his two wives, he's got all of his people, his immediate
Three
circle
wives,
across the river.
four
Two
wives, excuse me, wives and maid servants. So
Yeah. Okay. He's got his inner circle across the river, and then he starts wrestling God. But yeah, it's just strange. And
yeah,
a man,
yeah.
a divine being who is a man. So at this point, we're just going to start following suit and calling angels men, calling God a man. Okay, because it says right here, Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled him all night. And then
I
right after
mean,
that, they're saying that man was a divine being, and he wouldn't let him say his name.
and the reason God gives us 120 years of life is because we're made of flesh like Him. So
Just like him,
just like
in their
Him.
image, we look just like him. We are the same.
I mean, yeah,
Now
He
you
wrestles.
now you're like me. It's from Lost, right? When Jacob makes Jack like him, he's like, oh well, first
Oh,
when what's her name, Cheney, the mom, Jacob's mom,
I totally
makes Jacob, and now you're like me, or now we're the same, or whatever. And then Jacob does it to Jack, and then Jack does it to Hurley. Now you're like me. Now we're
Oh
the same.
man,
Whatever that
see,
is.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Right.
I fell off that. I was so committed, and then I wasn't to
No,
that series. I did
we've
finish
watched
it.
we've watched it like 4 times.
I probably should finish it again.
If you haven't seen the end, it's
I have, yeah,
completely disturbing. And what the fuck just happened?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're all dead the whole time. That's what you got to remember. Your name shall no longer be. What is your name? He replied. No, so
Yeah, let's do that. I got Bible Hub. So, what verse is that
when
when he goes God and Lord?
Jacob
Oh,
was
that's
left alone, and a man wrestled him. When he saw that he had not prevailed. See, this is kind of hard to. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled him until the break of dawn. When he saw, you don't know. Oh, so he must be Jacob, otherwise it'd be a capital, right?
I
When
think
he
so.
saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched. No, no. When he, the man Jacob's wrestling, saw that he had not prevailed against him, he wrenched Jacob's hip at the socket.
Yeah,
So it's God who's doing the leg lock.
yeah.
So when Jorge Masvidal saw that he had not prevailed against him, Jorge wrenched Jacob's hip at its socket so that the socket of his hip was strained he strained as he then said, "Let me go." So it's then he said, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking." But he answered. So they don't say who is who. But obviously, okay. So
how do they not?
Well, because they keep saying he's and they don't
Sure,
have
but
proper nouns.
so
So it's Jorge has the leg lock.
yeah, and we don't know he's God yet. He's a man, right? In the
Yeah,
verses, it hasn't said divine
yeah,
being yet.
right.
Yeah.
Then Jacob said, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking." But Jorge answered, "I will not let you go unless you."
No, that's Jacob saying to God. So he's like, even after he broke his fucking hip out of socket, he hasn't given up. He's still like,
Jorge
he's like,
breaks Jacob's hip because we don't know it's God yet.
yeah.
Then Jacob's no. Oh, then God says, "Let me go, for dawn is breaking."
Yeah.
But Jacob answers, "Not unless you bless me."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So said Jorge, "What is your name?" Jacob replied, "Jacob." Jorge says, "Your name is no longer, shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, blah, 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 blah. Oh, 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 oh. But Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and human,
Yeah.
and have prevailed. Yeah. Um, Jacob asked, "Pray tell me your name." But he said, "You." But Jorge said, "You must not ask my name," and he took leave of him there. Yeah. Okay.
Dude.
So, but you know what? I don't. Yeah, you could. I totally see what you're saying, but that doesn't necessarily say your name shall no longer. But for you have striven with beings divine and human. You're saying that he's saying you battled like Laban and came away unscathed, and you battled me, and I'm the divine person and came away unscathed.
I
Is that
think
what
it,
you're saying?
well, no, let's so one, um it seems like Jacob's had lots of encounters with divine beings, right? He saw that
Yeah.
ladder.
Yeah. Well,
Right. So I
and
think
also,
it's mentioning all of it, right? But
right,
right
of
now
course.
here with this character being like, you can't say my name. I think that is the writer, the person showing like in a cool way that this would be God. This is God.
You know how
I could point you to 150 different verses in this Old Testament that will back this up because this isn't true.
Look, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Stop
this
yelling.
isn't true.
Stop yelling.
I didn't mean to.
Fucking Republican, what the fuck are you doing? Don't yell
No,
at me.
I'm just so excited. I went fucking full Alex Jones there. I didn't even mean to. You're my best friend. It's horrible. Sorry.
I'll tell you what. That's God. Fucking God damn it.
Totally. So sorry.
That's
How
all
I'm
right.
crying.
That's all right.
No, so check this out. The name.
So
change.
you don't think he's saying that he's divine. You're saying you think he's divine because he says you can't say my name. You think it's God because of that. And I'm not saying you're wrong. That's what you're saying. Though.
Yeah, maybe let me back out a little and see if I can put this guy. So when they change his name, as I fucking yell still, I don't know why. This coffee's great.
I don't want explanations like this. I want to know what you think. I don't want
to. Yeah,
know.
I'm trying to get there really quick. But check this out. His name is what? Israel, right?
Yeah.
So this is Israel. His 12 sons become the 12 tribes of Israel. We're reading the stories of Israel written by Israelites, and they are going to make their dude, their lineage, strong as shit and awesome. And he's got
direct from
motherfuckers wrestled angels, bitches. Have you done that? So that's what I feel like this is.
So you're saying that an angel named him Israel or God named him Israel? Because if it's just wrestling angels,
no, I think it's God.
Okay, then he wrestled God all night.
Yeah,
but you just said,
yeah. I just conflated. But he has a lot of experiences with angels. But what I'm trying, because that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is these are farcical stories about this. It'd be like us talking up, Guns and it's like whatever camp you're in. Is this coming through? Like the Israelites are building up their people to be divine.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, they want.
I don't even know if this guy. Yeah, and maybe it's a cool story psychologically. Maybe wrestling God all night is more like grief, and he's freaking out, and so he stays up with his darkest thoughts all night and wrestles them until the dawn comes. Like that's the only way my rational brain can reason with it, but you seem to take
I'm just trying to take it for what it is. I don't have this. I don't have anything invested in it. It doesn't but if there's a thing where the first rule about Yahweh is you don't say the word Yahweh.
Yeah.
Is that your?
Yeah. I like to think it's the government knowing that we're dangerous, though.
Another thing. Converted meeting. Okay, it finished. And just along the same lines, the Jacob also totally fucks over his brother,
and then gets away with it.
And like the Lord doesn't come back and be like, you fucked you. He's like, yeah, okay, well, you got your dad's word, so you're the guy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, wouldn't Esau have been the guy?
Oh yeah, he's the firstborn.
Yeah, so he rightly been Israel. It'd have been him. But the God, so the moral of the story is don't fuck your God, but you can fuck over anybody else
I think you're right.
to to
No,
get the
I think.
to get the contract.
Oh my
And
god.
once you have the contract, it's like that's
You
just
did. Yeah.
gamesmanship. Like on a what's the not on a divine level, but like on a on just on a social level, you can fuck over anybody, including your brother. The people closest to you, you can fuck them over, just like Laban fucking over Jacob.
Yep.
You can fuck him over as long as you don't fuck over God or go against what God says or do harm
Damn,
to
dude.
God's chosen. But everything else is
Damn,
up for
dude.
grabs. So I really do think the right, the political right has it right. Fuck,
Oh.
fuck the environment. Fuck the poor people. Fuck everybody. Just get what you can while you can. Pass it on to your family, your bloodline.
Yeah. Build it
And
up.
what's the fucking problem? Look at Jacob. Look at Laban. Look at all those fuckers. Anyway, sorry.
No.
Um, I mean to.
And it's weird that the right, because we need like two strong, thoughtful, intelligent parties, but it's weird that the right, being the Christian side predominantly, who would like their savior is just like give to poor people. He hangs out with prostitutes, he hangs out with fishermen and tax collectors,
Right.
and it's like you can't find that anywhere with those people. It's sad.
Yeah. All right, well,
We might edit some of this. Who knows?
maybe, but
Who
maybe not
knows?
though. So
Yeah.
here we are, back
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
planet,
So
back
I'm
on
not
planet Earth
yelling
with
anymore with divine beings.
back on planet Earth with divine beings,
Yeah.
wrestling gods at the riverside.
Dude, right? Like,
Their fucking leg lock.
and yeah. And this, I mean, it's obviously explaining a tradition that must have been around for a while. I'm not even sure if they still won't eat that.
Huh?
Well, it says, and this is why the Israelite people won't eat that part of the thigh.
Oh, I thought
Just
you
a
meant
little
men
bit
wrestling.
after that.
I thought you meant men wrestling on the side of a river all night. I'm like, wait, that's a tradition. I hadn't heard that one.
Did you ever see that movie, Ladies Man? That
With
SNL character? Yeah, Tim Meadows.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, remember when like Will Ferrell's character is like this overly masculine dude that always wants to wrestle Greco-Roman wrestle everyone.
I don't remember because that was
It's 100
Will
years
Ferrell
ago.
was 100. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh,
So
okay, let's get on
divine
this.
beings, yeah. Well, like I don't know if I'm comfortable staying right here for the rest of the day and just talking about this if you want, because like
Oh,
if
yeah.
but if we want to go on, it's pretty. It starts getting into cool stories too. But I just want to make sure that we've hit, because like
Well, I don't.
you
I still,
started.
like, go ahead.
No, I was just saying you started the podcast talking about this thing, and you're just like, we can't believe how much interaction God of the universe has with us. Like just walking, talking.
Not us, him.
Them,
Very, very
them.
specific people.
Yeah, yeah.
Them.
Sorry. Yeah. Them.
Yeah.
Just
And but well,
and then
like,
it happens again.
well, but it's a little. So I don't. Whatever. I mean, we're not supposed to understand it, I guess. But like the first part where it's like, Jacob gets up, leaves, and the angels of God encounter him, and then that's it.
Yeah.
And so and you don't see a connection between that and the wrestling.
No, I do. I just think this guy. To me, it feels like this guy is so holy, so the dude that he just keeps encountering them all along. He has multiple encounters with. It's almost like he can see through the veil or something.
See, I think it just he has the contract. I don't think it has anything to do with his personality or his metabolism or his righteousness.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, I don't know why. I just think that's what it's saying. He's
well, I mean, I'm convinced his dad is Nephilim, so he's 50% Nephilim. So he's half divine being. He's not just a man. And
Yeah.
maybe, that's just me, but it
No,
just
I
seems
back
like
that.
if they were, so the part where he's like, I don't know. No, basically it's like I don't need to unpack this anymore because it's like we pretty
Right.
much. I mean, the hip thing. It's like you don't eat thigh muscle. But okay, great, no worries. But the boneless, skinless are so more convenient now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
no, I say we just keep going.
Okay. Do you want me to keep going, or you want to take over?
Are you stoned? I'll do it. I'll do it.
I
Yeah.
could do it. No, if you want to do the next two, because there's pretty good shit.
All right. Whatever.
Yeah, because sometimes we do 5 now, so who knows?
Okay.
All right, Genesis 33. Looking up, Jacob saw Esau coming, accompanied by 400 men. He divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 maids. Putting the maids and their children first, Leah and her children next, and Rachel and Joseph last. Favoritism much?
Joseph
Joseph,
is the oldest boy.
I
Rachel's
think at
oldest
this
boy.
point he's the youngest boy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's from Rachel,
Right.
which is why they're put last. Because remember, he worked an extra 7 years for her and shit. Yeah, he loves her a lot. He himself went on ahead and bowed low to the ground 7 times until he was near his brother. Esau ran to greet him and embraced him, and falling on his neck, he kissed him, and they wept. Looking about, he saw the women and children. Who, he asked, are these with you? He answered, the children with whom God has favored your servant. Then the maids with their children came forward and bowed low. Next, Leah with her children came forward and bowed low. And last, Joseph and Rachel came forward and bowed low. And when he asked, what do you mean by all this company which I have met? He answered, to gain my Lord's favor. Esau said, I have enough, my brother. Let what you have remain yours. But Jacob said, no, I pray you, if you would do me this favor, accept from me this gift. For you see, your face is like seeing the face of God, and you have received me favorably. Please accept my present, which has been brought to you, for God has favored me, and I have plenty. And when he urged him, he accepted. And Esau said, let us start on our journey, and I will proceed at your pace. But he said to him, my Lord knows that the children are frail, and that the flocks and herds which are nursing are a care to me. If they are driven hard a single day, all flocks will die. Let my Lord go ahead of his servants, while I travel slowly at the pace of the cattle before me, and the pace of the children, until I come to the Lord of Seir. Then Esau said, let me assign to you some of the men who are with me. But he said, oh no, my Lord is too kind to me. So Esau started back that day on his way to Seir. But Jacob journeyed on to Succoth and built a house for himself and made stalls for his cattle. That is why the place was called Succoth. Jacob arrived safe in the city of Shechem, which is in the land of Canaan, having come thus from Padan, and he encamped before the city. The parcel of land where he pitched his tent he purchased from the children of Hamor, Shechem's father, for 100 keseths. He set up there an altar and called it El Eloli Yisrael. Okay, then that's 33. So it all's well that ends well. Like
Sort of.
I mean, the brother didn't chop his head off.
No, but it seemed like, yeah. I guess it remains to be seen. Do they keep going? Do they have more interaction?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it seems like when they're going back and forth, it's like, no, let my posse here take your family. You come with me. It's like, no, no, Lord, no, no, my brother,
Yeah.
please. Yeah, it's really interesting how they like, how they, he goes, and I thought it was going to be kind of an issue that he like went and built himself a house before he goes and rolls up and sees his brother again, but it's not, because he's got to go build a
It
house.
takes so
You know,
long. Think
yeah,
about all that shit he has moving at a
yeah.
pace.
Well, and 400 men, they don't camp
Mm.
themselves, so that's a whole other thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool. That's great. So he didn't chop
Yeah.
his head off. So that's a
Didn't chop his
plus.
head off. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, let me look up one thing real quick. What is it? Verse 20. Verse 20. Because this L gets thrown around so fucking, it's just all the time, huh?
Mister.
Like, I've
Oh, in
never,
20.
yeah, I've never realized how much, like El Shaddai, Elohim. Oh my God.
What?
Dude, so this first, in verse 20 of 33, it says, and let me go back, erected an altar to Elohi Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And I look up this first Elohi, and it happens 398 times in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's always
What
like
is
by the Lord slash Elohi, the God. O Lord slash Elohi, which is the God. The Lord, the God.
okay.
Um,
Yeah. That's good.
yeah, it blows my mind because, you study these texts all the time and you think you have this objective opinion on it, and you just realize how much indoctrination goes into every area of your thought processes. So, um, not too much found there. That was a dead end, huh? So
Well,
they
no,
use
like,
L a lot.
no, but like the part where he didn't get his head chopped off is pretty good.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
plus.
yeah. So do you want to take from 34?
We're on 34.
Yeah, blazing.
Okay. So now Dinah, the daughter whom Leah had borne to Jacob, went out to visit the daughters of the land. Shechem, son of Hamor, the Hivite,
Yeah, dog.
the Hivite chief of the country, saw her and took her and lay with her by force. being strongly drawn to Dinah, daughter of Jacob, and in love with the maiden, he spoke to the maiden tenderly. So Shechem said to his father Hamor, "Get me this girl as a wife." Jacob heard that he had defiled his daughter Dinah, but since his sons were in the field with his cattle, Jacob kept silent until they came home. Then Shechem's father, Hamor, came out to Jacob to speak to him. Meanwhile, Jacob's sons, having heard the news, came in from the field. The men were distressed and very angry because he had committed an outrage in Israel by lying with Jacob's daughter, a thing not to be done. And Hamor spoke with them, saying, "My son Shechem longs for your daughter. Please give her to him in marriage. Intermarry with us, give your daughters to us, and take our daughters for yourselves. You will dwell among us, and the land will be open before you. Settle, move about, and acquire holdings in it." Then Shechem said to her father and brothers, "Do me this favor, and I will pay whatever you tell me. Ask of me a bride price ever so high, as well as gifts, and I will pay what you tell me. Only give me the maiden for a wife." Jacob's sons Jacob's sons answered Shechem and his father Hamor, speaking with guile, because he had defiled their sister Dinah, and said to them, "We cannot do this thing, to give our sister to a man who is uncircumcised, for that is a disgrace among us. Only on this condition will we agree with you, that you will become like us in that every male among you is circumcised. Then we will give our daughters to you and take your daughters to ourselves, and we will dwell among." But if you will not listen to us and become circumcised, we will take our daughters and go. Their words pleased Hamer and Hamer's son Shechem, and the youth lost no time in doing the thing, for he wanted Jacob's daughter. Now he was the most. Now he was the most. So Hamer and his son Shechem went to the public place of their town and spoke to their fellow townsmen, saying, "These people are our friends. Let them settle in the land and move about in it, for the land is large enough for them. We will take their daughters to ourselves as wives and give our daughters to them. But only on this condition will the men agree with us to dwell among us and be as kindred, be as one kindred, that all our males become circumcised as they are circumcised. Their cattle and substance and all their beasts will be ours if we only agree to their terms, so that they will settle among us. All who went out of the gate of his town heeded Hamor and his son Shechem, and all males, all those who went out of the gate of his town were circumcised. On the third day, when they were in pain, Simeon and Levi, two of Jacob's sons, brothers of Dinah, took each his sword, came upon the city unmolested, and slew all of the males. Motherfucker!
Damn.
They put Hamer and his son Shechem to the sword, took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went away. The other son,
right?
It's like,
Let's fucking cue the fucking badass music.
The other sons of Jacob came upon the slain and plundered the town because their sister had been defiled. They seized their flocks and herds and asses, all that was inside the town and outside, all their wealth,
Boom.
all their children, all their wives, all that was in the houses they took as captives and booty. Is that the okay? So let's go ahead and look up. Let's go ahead and look up booty. Is that the first time booty shows up?
I guess, yeah, yeah.
Sure? Well, it must be. It's Genesis, right?
Yeah. We're right in the beginning.
So, how often does booty come up? That's amazing.
We're gonna find out in 2 seconds.
Oh, we're just about done here, aren't we? Oh no.
Yeah.
No,
we are. Do you want to read the next two because it's done, and then we'll talk? Yeah.
Hold on. Well, we're not quite done with 30. Jacob, booty. Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, "You have brought trouble on me, making me odious among the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites and the Perizzites. My men are few in number, so that if they unite against me and attack me, I and my house will be destroyed." But they answered, "Should our sister be treated like a whore?"
Right?
Dude, what a bunch of it. And so that I didn't know that wasn't the plan all along. That's some Tarantino shit right there.
Dude. And like, remember how you
where's it they ingratiate? Where is it that they ingratiate themselves and then cut the shit out of people? Where is that? Oh, it's I think it's Game of Thrones. Well, it's the red wedding.
I don't remember. Oh man, I'll have to rewatch that too. But this is like, I mean, their dicks are healing.
Oh yeah.
So they trick these guys into getting circumcised. And while their dicks, all of them, every fucking dude that can fight in the town. And what happens? 2 motherfuckers roll in, kill a whole town, grab their sister, and like, bitch, peace out. Take all their shit. Yeah. Remember when you were like, it's weird that like this book is just fraught with like fucking, once you got the contract from God, fuck everyone else. Yeah. Like, you literally started out this podcast before we even got to this story talking about this kind of shit. Like, and I agree with them. Yeah. Like, if someone did that to my sister, they'd be fucking dead, right? Yeah.
Should our sister be treated like a whore?
Yeah, like they're like, what are you talking about? But yeah, it's Tarantino to the core.
do not fuck with Levi and which is the other one? Simeon?
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right.
Oh, and Levi, that's where the priests come from. Like, so the holy of the holies of Israel come from his line.
Oh, is that going to happen at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah. After he's slayed a whole fucking town. What I'm saying is like, it's not, again, the meek shall inherit the earth. Who the fuck are the
Yeah.
meek again? Remind me who the meek
He
again?
who has a large sheathed sword.
That's right. God damn it.
Yeah. So,
He's used to fucking
oh, he can
cracking
kill you
skulls.
if he wants, but he's going to be nice. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's Jason
Gen-
Momoa being kind, or
right.
like
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou.
Or
Yeah.
Lou Ferrigno,
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. 35, Genesis 35, 1. God said to Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel and remain there. Build an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau.
Just talking to
Is
him.
that the guy? Is that the guy he wrestled?
God? Oh, man. Let me look it up. I got to get my glasses
Go,
on.
go. No. Go and arise. Go up to Bethel. Build an altar there to the God who appeared to you when you were fleeing from your brother Esau. Was which one was that?
I'm just looking up the God that appeared to him.
Yeah.
Well, the God that says here is Elohim. The word it's used.
No. I'm saying who's he going to build this altar to?
I'm sorry, my Bible's freaking out. He's going to build an altar to Yahweh. As far
Who's
as I
talking
know,
to him?
Elohim.
He's talking to Elohim. He's going to
Yeah.
build an altar to Yahweh.
I feel like that's the word that gets used once he gets there, but I don't know. We're going to find out.
But they're not talking about the wrestling. That's not when he's fleeing. He's headed towards Esau then, right? Is the guy who he saw when he was fleeing Esau the guy when he saw the stairwell? It's not that guy either. This guy sees more. This guy spends more time with these dudes.
That's what I'm
They're
saying,
just
right?
like,
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Yeah. Now yeah, right? Like it's like
yeah,
it's a
his
common
bloodline.
occurrence for him. Like the guy, fucking God's telling him to do something, and he knows it's not just a weird dream he had.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's like,
like
do me a favor. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
I need you to do this thing for me. Right. So Jacob,
God's really needy. Yeah.
yeah. So Jacob said to his household and to all who were with him, rid yourselves of the alien gods in your midst, purify yourselves and change your clothes. Come, let us go up to Bethel, and I will build an altar there to the God who answered me when I was in distress, and who has been with me whenever I was gone, wherever I have gone. They gave to Jacob all the alien gods that they had, and the rings that were in their ears, and Jacob buried them under the terebinth that was near Shechem. As they set out, a terror from God fell on the cities round about, so that they did not pursue the sons of Jacob.
Well, obviously. They just found out what happened to fucking.
No, that's like a literal thing. That's
Yeah.
like, it's not like a terror. How does that word
Let's look
translate?
it up. Let's look it up. Give me a second.
Because this is the town that he just, all of his sons, just like two of his sons just castrated everybody, right?
Yeah, and they just passed through. So any town, 5. Any town around that's probably not going to be too pumped.
But this is so this has nothing to do with where were they when there's when the Shekel.
I'm looking
Shechem.
up. Shechem.
Is Shechem where they had everyone circumcise themselves?
I believe so, but I could be wrong because I'm looking up this terror thing.
Dude, as they set out, a terror from God fell on the city.
This is the only occurrence in the entire Bible.
A terror from God?
Right here.
All right, that's the name of our band then.
I got so many riffs.
Terror from God. Okay. Thus, Jacob came to Luz, that is Bethel, in the land of Canaan. He and all the people who were there with him. There he built an altar and named the site El Bethel, for it was there that God had revealed himself to him, and he was fleeing from his brother. Deborah, Rebekah's nurse, died and was buried under the oak below. below Bethel. So it was named Alan Barketh. God appeared again to Jacob on his arrival from Padanaram,
Padamaram. It's weird, right?
Padanaram, and he blessed him. God said to him, "You whose name is Jacob, you shall be called Jacob no more, but Israel shall be your name." Thus he named him Israel. Well, I thought that already happened.
Yeah, I think this is him building because he made it. Maybe he didn't have time to build it because he was scared of his brother.
No, I mean, I thought that he was already named Israel.
I think he's building an altar to that event now. But
Okay.
I think that
Well, that's what I was asking. So you're saying but that's not the God he wrestled. I mean,
I think that's he's building an altar to that God.
but you think that's the God?
I've been trying to go back and look it up while you're talking, and then I can't get it. So you keep going or keep talking, and I'm going to try to get that answer for you.
Okay. So the question is, well, I guess is the God he wrestled the same God who came to him and showed him that protected him when he was fleeing his brother Esau? Because the God he wrestled, when he wrestled the God, he wasn't fleeing. He was going towards his brother. He was returning.
When he was wrestling God, he was about to meet his brother.
Right. So he wasn't fleeing. So that's not the site. Right.
Oh, I get what you're saying. No, I think that's just flowery words being used there. I think this is still the event.
What do you mean?
Well, it's so hard to let me look back and get this answer. I'll be boring. I'm so sorry. Again, isn't it great that every time you have like a weird night and you read the Bible, the questions you have are always answered in the next verses we read. Like everything you brought up at the beginning of the podcast is now happening more and more and more. Like, with angels interacting and whatnot. Okay, there's the angel encountered him. Let me get that one first for you. Okay, so in the first one we brought up in verse, 32:1, or 32:2, when it says he encountered angels. That word,
angels of the Lord.
Yeah. The angels of God met the messengers of Japheth upon the messenger. The messenger. It's used 10 times all through the Old Testament, and it's always about a messenger. Okay, so I feel like that's where we have to start. So that first 32, when he's leaving, before he wrestles anyone, messengers come. Oh, here it is.
That's 33.
Okay. Yeah, it's in 32:26. So when it first comes up, that same night he arose, and taking 2 of his wives, 2 of his maidservants, and his 11 children, he crossed the ford of the Jabbok. After taking them across the stream, he sent across all his possessions. Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the break of dawn. 32:25. Let's do that first. No, it is a speech for I. 32 times that word is used.
Which, a man?
Yeah, but let me see if I can read it. It's like an I with a S and an apostrophe above it. So I don't know if it's like is, but it seems everywhere else it's like where it's used like of Noah. Noah, another, was a righteous, blameless. So that word another means the same thing as this word. Began Noah another land he planted. So I think this is a hard word to translate. And they just put man there, it seems. Let me look up one more way, because luckily I can edit out all the boring shit and we can sound smarter than we are.
That's got to be challenging.
Sometimes it is, friend. I can't exactly figure out the meaning of that word man there. So I guess we have to move forward from it. I mean, move forward from could be a translation thing that we've lost.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's obviously seems to be divine as the story unfolds. At the end of the story, he seems to be divine, you know, one of these
Yeah.
beings.
Yeah, for sure. But for the moment we're just, but anyway, so he,
I need to
whether
learn
or not,
ancient Hebrew.
but that's not, but I thought we were looking for the God that he encountered while he was fleeing his brother.
Yeah, we can get to that now. I was gonna see if they were all the same.
Oh, gotcha.
So I was starting back there. Is
So,
your shit freaking out?
no,
Oh man, it's rough.
but that's because we're not anywhere near each other.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
been
you're
rough.
probably, yeah. You heard about the whole 5G thing
No,
in airports?
what's going on?
5G will 5G will interfere with the radar that planes use for landing around airports.
What?
Yeah,
How?
that's it's one of the kind of the characteristics of that, whatever that, blanket technology is. Uh, it fucks with radar, and the people who wanted to get it done just forced it through. Said, "Look over here, look over here, look over here. Nothing up my sleeve," and like let let the people deal with it after the fact.
Did
So
you
anyway,
get?
sorry.
Did you guys finish that? Don't look up.
No, I didn't finish
You should.
it.
It's fucking brilliant. It's slow and it takes a while to get through, but like
Yeah.
it's like Jesus Christ, it's like too real. It was like
Well,
idiocracy.
that's why it's like I already. I I don't need to be reminded of that from Netflix. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just like, yeah. Do I really need to? Oh well, that's poignant. But I know, I get it. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like I don't. I'm so tired of the dumb people and and how money wins. And well, you know what I'm tired
Yeah.
of? I'm tired of living in the world that I just realized the Bible condones. To where you fuck over anybody you can who's not actually divine, and that's fine. No blood, no foul.
Mm.
That's where we're living, and I'm just realizing that the Bible, that's cool with the Bible.
It's
The Bible, like that's parallel, runs parallel. So
well, like we said, it was written by elite people of the time, and yes, these people are devout, devout and like what's it? They live it all day. Some of them were priests. They might have come from a wealthy family, but they were committed to understanding this stuff. But they're also the ones that fucking wrote it. So it's just
I mean, you committed, but during the day, and they go home and fuck their wives, and then they fuck their friends' wives, and they fucking fuck over their friends, and it's like devout,
dude.
devout. All that means is you're studying something. It doesn't mean you're a good person
Oh no,
anymore.
no, yeah. I just trying to like, you know, some people try to cut down our arguments a little bit, but I'm trying to show that we're thinking of this objectively. Like I think we're landing correctly on a lot of these issues, and it is strange to sit with the internet here and be able to go through this shit and like look up these words. But like
Right.
the cynicism don't stop, right? When you
Well, that's impossible. That's absolutely impossible. What would stop it? Prove me wrong. Like
oh, dude,
I'm
it
just
gets so
waiting to be
rough.
proven wrong. I'm waiting to get some enlightenment.
Yeah,
That's
no,
kind of
no.
like spiritual enlightenment as opposed to social enlightenment.
Yeah,
You know.
psychedelics. I think that's it. That's the forefront, and I think it
Oh,
will.
but we're just talking about we're just talking about reading the Bible, though. I'm just talking about
Yeah.
I'm talking about getting it from this document or this group of documents. It's like, so Jacob fucking sent his household to go fuck people.
So,
I'm sorry.
yeah, and now, so when he makes this altar here, El Shaddai is God Almighty.
We're not
So
there yet.
we
We're not
just
there
see
yet.
El thrown around like a fucking buffet at the front of words,
Right.
everywhere. So
Come, let us go to Bethel, and I will build an altar there to the God who answered me when I was in distress and who has been with me wherever I have gone. In distress when he was fleeing.
But
Arise. Oh, yeah. God said to Jacob, arise, go up to Bethel
oh,
and remain there and build an altar to the God who appeared to you when you were fleeing your brother Esau. That's not
okay.
the wrestling. The
And then
wrestling
he
is
goes, but then he goes, so what verse is that? 35:10?
that's 35:1.
So in 35:10, he goes, God appeared again to Jacob on his arrival from Padam Aram, and he blessed him. God said to him, you whose name is Jacob, you shall be called Jacob no more, but Israel shall be your name. And thus he named him Israel. And God said to him, I am El
We haven't
Shaddai.
gotten to we haven't gone to 11 yet.
1 second.
We stopped at 10.
We stopped at 10?
Yeah, that's the last thing I read. His name was Israel, and we started talking about, and that's how this whole thing started. We didn't go past that yet.
Oh, see, that's what fucked us up. Cool. Well, I can edit that shit out because, see, right here, right? Sorry. So we're doing a lot, though. We're doing God's work here. We're doing God's work, folks.
Yep.
So right here, he's naming that event of when he got named. He's obviously already changed his name, right?
Well, that was the question. Is like, no, he changed his name when he wrestled the dude.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. So what he's saying, he's like, is this a different God? And
no, I think he just didn't have time because he was right about to meet his brother. That's what I'm saying.
Wait. I think he didn't have time. What do you mean? They have all the time in the world. That doesn't matter. My point is that, like, I mean, at no point do we hear God repeat himself. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first time he's saying exactly the same thing.
Well, I'm trying. Let me think about this because I'm trying to cut that shit straight.
And I'm not asking. I don't know why you would have an answer.
Well, because there's lots of repeating themes already, right?
Not in the sense that God said this to him once, said the exact same thing to him once, and now it's saying he's saying it again as if he hadn't said it already.
You mean
he doesn't say, remember when I said you're already Israel? He doesn't even reference. It's like, well, so this last sentence, thus he named him Israel. He already did name him Israel.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like Genesis 35:10 is the first time he's named Israel.
Yeah, so 30 at the end of 32, he wrestles that angel. 33, chapter 33, he meets his brother, and then that goes right. Right.
Well, then it's at the very beginning of 33. No,
it's the very end, I think, because he set up an altar there and called it Elia Israel, Elohim, Elohi Israel. I don't know how to say that.
Okay, here we go. So 32:28. Said the other, what is your name? He replied, Jacob.
Yeah.
Said he, your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have striven with beings divine and have prevailed.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that, like, that wasn't actually coronated until this next thing?
No, not at all. I'm saying that the rest of the chapters until we get to the spot where he's building an altar for this event was too busy. I'm saying that right after this event where he changes his name, he meets his brother. And then right after that event, they settle in this land and his fucking sons instantly pretty much kill everyone next door to him. And then now he's moving on to make an altar about this name-changing event where he wrestled with this god all night. That's how I was taking it.
Well, I don't.
Because he doesn't make an altar there, right? He makes a sacrifice.
He's not. He doesn't tell him to make an altar there.
Right. So what I'm saying is the event, this is the beginning of the event we're seeing the end of right now and what we're reading in 35. I think he's making an altar to that.
I don't think you can. If we can't make the leap that at the beginning of 32, when Jacob encounters the angels of the Lord, if we can't make the leap that those angels are still with him at the end of that chapter, and one of those is the one he's wrestling, then you can't make the leap interchapter between
I don't.
32 and
I think you're gonna have to walk me through that because
all right. So
that those are
let me
different events that you're correlating together. It seems.
okay. Well, I'm just saying that like at the beginning of 32,
Mm-hmm.
the first line of 32 is Jacob goes on his way to meet Esau, right?
Mm-hmm.
And encounters
Messengers.
Jacob went on his way, and the angels of God encountered him.
And when I looked that one up for you just a minute ago, that word angels is always used in a bunch of other places as messengers too. So you could think
Oh,
of
the
angels
messengers of
like
God.
yeah.
But that's the
Yeah.
same. But
Yeah.
isn't that the same messenger of that came to Mary?
Yeah, he would be right, Gabriel.
Well,
That's angel's job is to bring God's. They're like
but how do you know
FedEx
that? How do you know the messenger that came to Mary was Gabriel?
because it says that in one of those texts in one of the remember Luke maybe or whatever. It says Gabriel, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's why
Well,
I'm here.
yeah.
You don't have to know because you're bringing all the good thoughts. So let's
Right.
keep going
Well,
on this. Yeah.
okay. So I don't. So just some random messenger.
Oh damn it! I didn't.
In,
Yeah.
so messengers, because it's
Mhm.
plural,
Mm-hmm.
encountered Jacob
Mm-hmm.
on his way. Laban kissed the son. Right. Messengers.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would they? Why? Like
I don't know, man. Right? It's just like a throwaway.
a throwaway where the messengers of God show up and they're like,
Right.
how,
Right. Well, in the story, in my opinion, he wrestles like he wrestles a divine being all night who won't even let him say his name. So I don't know who, it's like he who cannot be named. You
I
know,
understand. So maybe he was naked too, because he who cannot be named doesn't wear clothes on stage, does he?
no, he doesn't. That's so brilliant.
Right. So you're not are you think it's God?
I mean, I
Because
do, but it's the same way I want aliens to be real. But you know, it's just like it's a divine being, but he's a badass divine being. That's
right.
it.
Well,
that's what it says.
that's redundant. He's a divine being. You don't have to say he's a badass divine being.
Well, I think that's the thing is I think back then let's so I kind of always like I'm a younger kid around a fire or in the town square where these scrolls would be read aloud, right? And you're like, this is how the information for years is being transmitted. One person who can read is reading for everyone else these stories all the time, right? And everything that's coming out is going to over time take on a theatrical bend, right? Take on a theatrical presentation. It's like this is how we get these stories is from people telling stories, right? Are you following me so far? Or is this going down the wrong way?
Go ahead.
Okay, so when they say here, like when they're saying, "Don't say my name," I feel like that's something that is like lost to us, where they would have known instantly, like, "Oh, that's the fucking main. He wrestled the main god." You know, I feel like it is something like that because if you read the story a bunch, it just kind of sticks out, right?
So yes, so you think that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm just like, but like, I think there are just answers that I have questions that don't have answers to.
Yeah, they're just like maybe that's what it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah. So, but he's already been named Jacob and so why is he?
You mean Israel?
He's already been named Israel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you think that? Whatever. Let's just move on. I feel like I'm talking in circles, and we're not going to get anywhere.
And the truth is like even sometimes, you know, we're trying to understand this stuff at a level, but a lot of this shit is lost to us. So, like detectives, we're gonna run into fucking dead ends, and you know that's why I'll edit the fuck out of that to make it make sense. But like, you know, we don't know. We're not gonna know. How do we know? Like, we know that this guy just came off a fucking crazy event where his kids kill fucking everyone, and now he's making an altar.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know that we can draw that timeline though. You know what I mean? Like this,
Yeah, I sure. Yeah.
you like, I don't think like these are whatever, but anyway, let's just keep going. Because God said to him, because God's talking to him again. He's like, it's
Yep.
amazing.
Pretty amazing.
And God said to him, I am El Shaddai, be fertile and increase. A nation, yea, an assembly of nations shall descend from you. The kings shall issue from your loins. The land that I assigned to Abraham and Isaac, I assign to you, and to your offspring to come will I assign the land. God parted from him at the spot where he had spoken to him, and Jacob set up a pillar at the site where he had spoken to him, a pillar of stone, and he offered a libation on it, and poured oil upon it. Jacob gave the site where God had spoken to him the name Bethel.
Oop, sorry.
They set out from Bethel, but when they were still some distance short of Ephrath, Rachel was in childbirth, and she had hard labor. When her labor was at its hardest, the midwife said to her, have no fear, for it is another boy for you. But as she breathed her last, for she was dying, she named him Ben-Oni. But his father called him Benjamin. Thus Rachel died. She was buried on the road to Ephrath, now Bethlehem. Over her grave, Jacob set up a pillar. It is the pillar at Rachel's grave to this day. Israel journeyed on and pitched his tent beyond Midal Eder. While Israel stayed in that land, Reuben went and lay with Bilhah, his father's concubine, and Israel found out. Now the sons of Jacob were 12 in number.
Can we pause real quick right there?
Yeah.
Can we look at, so the 22, it's like he's been using the word Israel to describe Jacob, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then right in this, it's like that verse right in the middle of it, it just goes back to Jacob. So it's weird. Maybe it's a,
well, this
like just a
they're
scroll
talking
error.
or because that it's sort of like a, I don't know, but maybe,
right?
You love maybes,
right?
They're talking about the sons, they're not talking about the man.
Yeah.
So it's like they just want to be clear that they're the sons of Jacob. They're not the sons of Israel, because Israel didn't have them. He was I guess Benjamin would be the son of Israel, but whatever. I don't know. Yes. I'm just making shit. I'm mansplaining. All right. The sons of Leah, Reuben, Jacob's firstborn, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. The sons of Rachel, Joseph and Benjamin. The sons of Bilhah, Rachel's maid, Dan, Carl, and Naphtali. And the sons of Zilpah, Leah's maid, Gad and Asher. These are the sons of Jacob who were born to him in Paddan Aram. And Jacob came to his father Isaac at Mamre, at Kiriath Arbor, now Hebron, where Abraham and Isaac had sojourned. Excuse me. Isaac was 180 years old when he breathed his last and died. Isaac was 180 years old when he breathed his last and died. He was gathered to his kin in ripe old age, and he was buried by his sons Esau and Jacob.
Yeah.
Getting fucking sick of the Bible life.
Dude. Welcome to the fold, my friend. So, like, the next chapter is just a genealogy. So it just wraps up the rest of the.
We'll save that for later.
Yeah.
Save that.
Because, like, I'm getting sick of the Bible.
Fuck this. It's like, I need more. It's what a shitty thing to base your life on. Or,
it's
like,
oh, yeah.
Like, it's not, like, well, I don't know. We're only in Genesis, but I can't imagine it's going to get a lot. Whatever. But I think I have a new respect for Judaism, You know,
Pretty
it's like,
badass.
well, it's like this is their, if they put this together, then this is sort of their book. And I'm like, okay, I could see that. But like the Christ thing, where it's like, do good. You fucking hippies. You fucking patchouli, dirt head fucking hippies. You know, and you're doing the same thing anyway. That's the thing is like, they can squawk all they want about, you know, turning the other cheek and shit, but they're just fucking gaming everybody they can as long as they
Yes,
like
sir.
show up on Sunday and put their ties in.
Yeah, you got tax free
Bullshit.
for helping the community. You know what? Arranging kickball games.
Right? Yeah. 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 It makes me feel, this is what it makes me feel like.
Boop. Exactly.
Thank you.
Well, and like, you know, you've done a lot this week when I call you outside the podcast talking me off ledges because I get sent a lot of literature from a lot of Christian friends because I have a lot of Christian friends. And I'll read it and it makes me so completely I'm infuriated. And so as I was thinking upon this and reading this stuff this week a bunch and like whatever this thing where God's talking to people directly and stuff, whatever the mystery of this life is, whatever the fucking juice is, it's lost on us. We're divorced humans in this thing. It's for at least
say that one more time.
whatever the mystery of this life, like whatever the morals of this text is, whatever God is to these people, it's fucking lost on us. Whatever God is in reality to us, or the human beings seem to be divorced from the childlike wonder that we used to all have.
Well, you only have it when you're a child, though, unless you do a lot of drugs,
So
or you become
that's what we're
independently wealthy, or you become independently wealthy playing rock and roll music at an early age.
Yeah. That's if you can bank $1 million when you're 18.
Yeah. Well, it's got to be way more than that now.
Oh, that's true.
$1 million's not shit.
It ain't shit.
You're not retiring on $1 million.
No way.
Yeah.
But
you know.
And maybe I didn't say that totally correctly, but like, you know, as you're reading this, you can see there's so many varying stories from so many different angles that it's like, how do you take this when it's like the elect of God, the chosen and righteous ones are just fucking bastards. They're just assholes.
That part doesn't concern me or make me the concerning part to me is that this is the book that people are supposedly following. It's like they're not following this book.
Mm-mm.
Or this you know, I liked Jordan Peterson called it it's a library, not a book.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, and so like we're saying, like you're when you're like, oh, this is like a timeline, and I'm like, well, you know, like we just because the stories come in succession, we can't say they're a timeline, and it's like,
I don't think it.
And it's really challenging to, like you say, we can't know.
Mm-mm.
You know, yeah, we can't know. That's the part that
That's the crux.
That's what I'm getting tired of, is not being able to like when you call me and you have a problem or you're like you're chewing on something.
Yeah.
I can help you.
Yeah.
I can almost always figure out what the root of it is.
Yeah, totally.
And help.
Totally.
This thing, I can't figure out what the root is. There's no figuring out because it's so old and it's so, you know, like we're not even talking about stuff that everybody knows because no one reads this fucking shit. But the part where, you know, it's like if I read, you know, Catch 22 or The Shining, you know, Stephen King's still alive. Yeah. You know, I can, or there are people that were on set when Stanley Kubrick made the movie The Shining. Yeah. You know, it's like I could there's email. I could, you could probably cost somebody enough electronically until I got an answer. But I don't get the feeling that like fucking biblical scholars, that's like that's an oxymoron.
That's what they would say too. If you read their books, and that's why no one trusts them, because they're like, dude, you know, we don't even have full cop. Yeah, right. They're like, I showed my wife a a page that shows the variations between just the Dead Sea Scrolls and the other forms and copies of the
The
Old
Old
Testament we
Testament.
have. And it shows
Yeah.
every verse, every line, and how many words in that verse vary. And there's only like, of these, there's so many, but like, there's variations everywhere, changes of words. Sometimes a scroll would bleed over into another scroll. And like,
Right.
if there's a dash through one of the O's, that will change it from like human to God. And I know
Right.
that's not the exact,
Yeah. No,
I'm
but
paraphrasing, but that happens,
but it
and
well, but it's that's the reality of it, is that
mm-hmm.
like even things that aren't there have become there,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. I'm excited to read the Gospel of Mark because in it, there's a different story of Jesus than and he's kind of like more Elliot Smith than anything. Like,
Jesus.
yeah, he doesn't like he anyone that tries to say he's God, he's either silences them or like tries to get away from it, and he himself never says he's God. And then in one of the stories when he heals a dude, there's a bunch of verses from these different codexes that have him getting angry at the guy instead of happy, because it's like and I'll bring it all when we do it. It's really fun. But like, so Jesus is like kind of pissed that he has to heal this guy. Like, so it's a very different picture.
It's probably herpes.
Right,
Stop,
right.
stop fucking sheep, you fucking deviant. Stop fucking sheep, you deviant.
Yeah. Meanwhile, one of the phrases that you've said during this that's helped me so much is they've sent you on a fool's errand. And maybe that's what I was trying to say when I'm like, the mystery of this life is lost on people, because a lot of people just spend every Sunday and Wednesday talking a lot over small sections of this book, have never read the whole thing, don't understand how complex it is, and they're not really achieving what they want in this world, the goodness, the healing, the helping, because that's what most of them are aiming at, but
I
doesn't
don't,
work.
but when you say complex, it's like it's not complex in its message. It's complex in its lack of focus or substance.
Yeah, now
Like
times that by
you can't.
67, right? So
What's that?
times that by the rest of the books of the Bible, right? Like,
No, no, I'm talking about. Well, I'm just
because
saying like it's not complex. Like it's kind of, we're only through the first one. It's already
yeah,
pretty obvious what the message is like, get yours, don't fuck over God. That's pretty much the golden rule so far, I mean, from what I can see. So it's like, yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I think
I'm
you
gonna.
do.
Well, I'm just. I think I said it. I just said
Yeah,
like it's not. It's not. The message is almost like the subtext where people are getting away with shit left and
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like even Abraham pimping out his wife. He's God's chosen.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's fine. That's what you do to get rich and famous, or rich and rich and powerful,
Yep.
and that's fine. God's cool with that. That's the
He
message.
rewards it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I need to. I might do now. And now I'm gonna start doing homework, because now it's just like,
It helps
well, I
because
mean,
look how many people we've been introduced to too. I just listen to the Bible at least through these passages once a day. It takes like 15 minutes while I'm doing something,
yeah,
but
I don't like. I'm not a big listener. I want to like if I'm. And I'm just talking about. I want to just do. Never mind. I'll do
no,
it.
I grew up illiterate mostly, so I learned
Right.
music through listening. Like,
Right. Yeah. No, that's not
it
good.
was a huge thing. So now I'm too neurotic to not be doing two things at once. So,
Right.
but
Right. I tried to do listening while I'm doing something, and I always end up listening too much and fucking up what I'm doing. That's supposed to be the main.
totally
You know.
get wrapped up in it. But regardless, I mean, even when you listen to the audiobooks, you can clip them up and add notes for later to go quickly through and look up and
Yeah.
reference. So it's like information is just so freely, it's just so brilliant now, and people are scared of change of this kind of shit. But like when you take the Bible holistically and you start adding history. And if you take it, yeah, it gets fucked, huh, dude? I forgot to tell you about this pretty fun event before we get out of here.
What is it?
Well, so like, our family finally tested negative for all that shit.
Oh, right. I saw the
Jesus.
test. That's awesome.
It's like we're all vaxxed, so that was a lot better. But and we have a pretty, we're just like, we stayed inside, and like the one time family comes over to help. It was the best too. We couldn't have done it without them. So, but that's what happens. And then
you also wouldn't have got it without them.
Oh man, it was 2 weeks, man.
Number love.
Yeah, right.
Anyway.
And so, test negative. Fucking Squires was in town. So he was playing a private party at the Troubadour with this like really cool band.
Yeah.
So we got to go see.
Did you go see it?
Yeah. So Gilby was there, and like,
Clem Burke.
Yeah.
Did you meet Clem Burke?
We gotta take this off air so I could. But do you know Keith Nelson?
Yeah.
From Buckshare? Yeah, he says hi. He wants to come on the podcast. So
does he?
Yeah, he worked with Vendetta Red back in the day.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? Yeah. So we were talking a bunch, and like he's like, I want to come on. And then he grabbed my arm and apologized. He's like, dude, I just totally invited myself on your podcast. And I'm like, yeah, dude, come on. He killed it though. Yeah, Squires Squires killed it. Yeah, hit him up. He says hi. He's rad.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good dude, yeah. He's so let's stop recording so we can
Let me tell you the shit. Yeah. Thank you everyone. We love you.
Yeah, love you.
See you next week. Thanks for listening. We love you. Talk soon. Smooches.